Did you know the man who played Earl Sinclair's body was a carpenter with zero puppetry training? He begged for any job on set, even cleaning toilets, and ended up inheriting Jim Henson's own legendary Muppet roles. But that's not the most surprising thing when you look at this cast today. We're updating the entire Dinosaurs cast, and we're starting right now with Jessica Walter. But first, tell me, who watched it with you? Were you the kid on the living room floor, or the parent on the sofa trying not to laugh louder than your children? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Let's go. Number 8. Stuart Pankin. We start with the big guy himself. Stuart Pankin was the voice of Earl Sinclair, the lovable, stubborn, tree-pushing father we all secretly recognized from our own dinner tables. Before Earl, Stuart was already a star, playing anchor Bob Charles on HBO's Not Necessarily the News. 5 cable ace nominations, 1 in '87. And get this, the man holds a Master of Fine Arts from Columbia University and once originated roles in the very first New York production of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. After Dinosaurs, he became Commander Plank in Disney's Xenon trilogy, winning over a whole new generation. Today, Stuart Pankin is 80 years old, married to his wife Joy since 1974, over 50 years. Still acting, still going strong. Number 7. Jason Willinger. Every great family needs that one kid who questions everything. That was Robbie Sinclair, the rebel, the thinker, the conscience of the Sinclair family. And for all 65 episodes, that voice belonged to Jason Willinger. After the show, Jason co-starred in the Sundance indie film Zebrahead in '92 and voiced a character in Disney's A Goofy Movie in '95. But here's what might catch you off guard. Those deep, booming movie trailers you heard in theaters. For Elizabethtown, Into the Blue, 28 Weeks Later, that was him. He also narrated Discovery Channel's Everest, Beyond the Limit, from 2006 to 2008. Jason Willinger is 54 years old today, still working behind the microphone. From teenage dinosaur rebel to the voice behind Hollywood's biggest trailers. Not bad, Robbie. Number 6. Allan Trautman. Now, you heard Stuart Pankin's voice as Earl, but who gave Fran her soul? Allan Trautman was the face performer and lead puppeteer for Fran Sinclair, the warm, patient, long-suffering mom who held that whole family together. Every smile, every eye roll, every perfectly timed look of disbelief at her husband, that was Allan's hands bringing her to life. But before Fran, Allan had a very different claim to fame. In 1985, he played the Tar Man in Return of the Living Dead, the first zombie in movie history to scream the word brains. From iconic zombie to beloved dinosaur mom, only in Hollywood. Oh, and the man has a bachelor's degree in physics and drama from Washington University in St. Louis. Before his big break, he was selling speakers at a stereo shop in the San Fernando Valley. Today, Allan Trautman is 70 years old, still performing with the Muppets and still a founding member of Puppet Up Uncensored, the Henson alternative improv show that's played off-Broadway and the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Allan gave Fran her expressions, but someone had to climb inside Earl's body every single day. And his story is one of the wildest origin stories in Muppet history. Number 5. Bill Barretta. Bill Barretta was the man inside Earl Sinclair's suit. 80 pounds of rubber, 14 hours a day, and he loved every second of it. Here's the thing, Bill was never trained as a puppeteer. He was a carpenter, a struggling actor in Los Angeles with no connections. He'd met Brian Henson years earlier while they were both working at Sesame Place in Pennsylvania. When Brian came to LA to produce Dinosaurs, Bill called him up and asked for any job on set. Quote, production assistant, cable wrangler, toilet cleaner, anything. Brian remembered that Bill could do a killer Jackie Gleason impression. They auditioned him, they watched the tape with the sound off, and just like that, a carpenter became a dinosaur. From that suit, Bill taught himself puppetry and went on to become one of the greatest Muppet performers alive. He created Pepe the King Prawn and inherited Jim Henson's own roles, Dr. Teeth, Rolf the Dog, and the Swedish Chef. Bill Barretta is 61 years old today and is still the lead Muppet performer in every major Muppet production. So Stuart gave Earl his voice, Bill gave Earl his body, but there was one character on Dinosaurs that became bigger than all of them. A baby. A tiny, screaming, scene-stealing baby. And the man who brought that baby to life also created one of the most famous characters in the history of children's television. Number 4. Kevin Clash. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, or if you raised a child in the 80s or 90s, you know this man's work. You just might not know his name. Kevin Clash was the puppeteer and voice behind Baby Sinclair, the tiny, demanding scene stealer who gave the world the immortal catchphrase, "Not the mama!" But Baby Sinclair was only part of the story. Kevin Clash is the man who made Elmo. He was the 5th puppeteer to handle that little red monster on Sesame Street. But it was Kevin who gave Elmo his falsetto voice, his curiosity, his warmth. The Tickle Me Elmo craze of '96? Over 1 million units sold in weeks. That was Kevin's creation. And Dinosaurs wasn't his only film work either. He voiced Master Splinter in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in 1990. The man started building puppets at age 10 in Baltimore, Maryland, performing on local TV as a teenager. His high school classmates voted him most likely to be a millionaire. Kevin Clash is 65 years old in 2026. He continues to work with the Jim Henson Company, most recently on The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance for Netflix. And from the man behind Baby Sinclair to the woman who gave Charlene her voice. And if you grew up watching a certain family in Queens, New York, you already know her very, very well. Number 3. Sally Struthers. Sally Struthers. Just hearing that name takes you somewhere, doesn't it? She voiced Charlene Sinclair, the mall-obsessed, boy-crazy teenage daughter. But long before Charlene, Sally was already an American icon. She played Gloria Stivic on All in the Family from 1971 to 78 and won 2 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy. How she got that role is a story in itself. Producer Norman Lear spotted her dancing on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. At the time, Sally had just been let go from another show, and that firing freed her up to audition for the part that changed her life. After Dinosaurs, Sally never stopped. She became the unforgettable Babette Dell on Gilmore Girls and returned for the 2016 revival. And just recently, in 2024, she joined the Netflix series A Man on the Inside alongside Ted Danson. Sally Struthers is 78 years old in 2026 and is showing absolutely no signs of slowing down. Seeing Sally again, doesn't that just take you right back? Now be honest with me, how many of you secretly had a little crush on Gloria Stivic? Back in the 70s. Or maybe it was Charlene who cracked you up. Don't be shy, confess in the comments. Coming up, a man whose voice has haunted your nightmares and made you laugh out loud for 50 years. And after that, number 1, the one you've been waiting for. Number 2, Tim Curry. If you know this voice, and you do know this voice, then just hearing his name sends a chill down your spine and a grin across your face at the same time. Tim Curry made multiple guest appearances on Dinosaurs, playing the Chief Elder, Foxjacket, Henri Poupon, and other characters. Every time he showed up, he stole the episode. But of course, Dinosaurs was just one stop in a career that borders on legendary. He was Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show in 1975, a performance so magnetic the film has been playing in theaters continuously for 50 years. He was Pennywise the Clown in Stephen King's It in 1990, one of the most terrifying performances in television history. In 2012, Tim suffered a major stroke. He has used a wheelchair ever since, but he never stopped working, turning to voice roles and staying connected to the craft he loves. In October 2025, he published his memoir, Vagabond. And at the 50th anniversary celebration of Rocky Horror at the Academy Museum in Los Angeles, Tim rolled onto that stage in his wheelchair, looked out at the crowd, and said, "I'd like to tell you that I haven't been legless before tonight, but it wouldn't be true. Unfortunately, I'm currently sitting in a wheelchair, so get over it." Standing ovation. Tim Curry is 80 years old in 2026. Unbroken, unforgettable. And now, number 1. The voice you heard every single week for 4 seasons. The woman who gave Fran Sinclair her heart, her humor, and her soul. Number 1. Jessica Walter. Jessica Walter was Fran Sinclair's voice, the warm, patient, endlessly loving center of the Sinclair household. While Earl stumbled and fumbled his way through life, it was Jessica, who held that family together. And every ounce of warmth you felt from that character came from her. Jessica Walter had been a working actress since the 1960s. In 1971, she starred opposite Clint Eastwood in his directorial debut, Play Misty for Me, delivering a performance so raw and intense that critic Roger Ebert described it as having unnerving effectiveness. She earned a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in a Drama. She won an Emmy Award for the series Amy Prentice in 1975. But for a whole new generation, Jessica Walter became immortal as Lucille Bluth on Arrested Development from 2003 to 2019. The cocktail, the wink, the withering stare. She earned an Emmy nomination, 3 SAG Award nominations, and the undying love of millions of fans who quote her to this day. And then she did it again, voicing Mallory Archer on the animated series Archer from 2009 all the way to 2021. She earned Emmy nomination after Emmy nomination for her voice work on Archer, the last one coming posthumously, a final nod to a talent that outlived even her. When asked if she was anything like Lucille Bluth, Jessica smiled and said, "I'm nothing like Lucille. Nothing. My daughter will tell you, I'm really a very nice, boring person." From Fran Sinclair to Lucille Bluth to Mallory Archer, Jessica Walter gave us 60 years of extraordinary performances. She is, and will always be, number 1 on this list. Before we go, we pause, because not everyone from this remarkable cast is still with us, and they deserve a moment. Jessica Walter, her final chapter. Jessica was 50 years old when Dinosaurs premiered. She went on to work for 3 more decades, creating 2 of the most iconic characters in modern comedy. Her husband, Tony Award-winning actor Ron Liebman, left us in December 2019. 15 months later, on March 24, 2021, Jessica left us too, peacefully in her sleep at her home in Manhattan. She was 80 years old. 6 decades of making us laugh. 6 decades of making us feel something. Thank you, Jessica. For Fran, for Lucille, for Mallory, for all of it. Florence Stanley, her final chapter. Florence Stanley, born Florence Lenore Schwartz, gave voice to Grandma Ethyl Phillips, the razor-sharp, no-nonsense mother-in-law who lived to torment Earl and make us howl with laughter. Before Dinosaurs, Florence had already built an extraordinary career. She was Bernice Fish on Barney Miller and its spin-off, Fish. She played Judge Margaret Wilbur on My Two Dads, and even directed several episodes of that series. Later, she voiced Wilhelmina Packard in Disney's Atlantis, The Lost Empire in 2001, earning an Annie Award nomination. And here's something beautiful. Florence once took over the role of Yenta in Broadway's Fiddler on the Roof, and stayed in that role for over 2,000 performances. Florence was 66 years old when Dinosaurs began. She left us on October 3rd, 2003, at the age of 79. Sharp, funny, fearless, on stage and in the recording booth. We miss you, Florence. Time moves so incredibly fast. One day you're laughing at Earl pushing trees and baby screaming, "Not the mama!" And the next, 35 years have gone by. But these memories, they don't fade. Which of these transformations surprised you the most today? And if you could go back, just for one evening, to sit on that old sofa next to the people you loved most, turn on ABC and watch the Sinclairs one more time, what would you give to do it? Share your stories in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and they mean more than you know. Thank you for watching, and thank you for remembering.